Welcome to Watkins Glen International Speedway for round number 13 of the ESRA Indycar Series. I'm joined in the booth with Mr. Dean Doucet. Dean, getting down to the end of the season, we have a jam-packed field here at Watkins Glen. It should be a great race, and it's going to be a difficult race for these IndyCar drivers as they head toward the end of this season.
Yeah, it really is, man. We're at Watkins Glen, tricky track. These guys are going to be looking to get all they can get with Chris Wilhite missing last week. JW closed in a little bit on the points, but still a lot of work to do. And a little bit bigger field might open up that opportunity if any problems occur for Chris Wilhite.
Yeah, exactly right, Dean. Let's take a look at those point standings right now. You'll see at the top, Chris Wilhite, 32-point lead over J.W. Miller. Now, there is 50 points on offer for a victory, and it's 40 points for second place. So there's a 10-point difference between first and second. So these points can really start to shake up as this season comes to its closure. Alex Ball in third. Alec Coates, who will miss the rest of the season, he is in fourth. And Roger Rios-Matias in fifth. And I don't believe he is here tonight either. So he will likely be dropping down the standings. But, Dean, we look at the track facts here at Watkins Glen. They're running the boot formation. So it's a little bit different track than maybe some of the NASCAR fans are used to. But this is a larger version. 3.4 miles of track here. They're going to be using the bus stop as well. It is 75 air temp, and we're looking at a track temp of 103 degrees, so a little bit slick out there tonight.
Yeah, I love that they're using the boot there. It brings a little bit of extra road racing ability into it. And it's a nice little part of the track there where you can kind of, if you're really smooth through that area and you've got your braking points really down pat, you can make up some valuable time down on that part of the track.
You're exactly right, Dean, and it's going to be a challenge all night for these drivers because Watkins Glen, on the surface, a lot of drivers have raced at it, and they have participated in it. But it is a lot different beast when you're with these IndyCar vehicles and also running that boot section, which is going to be something that we'll have to keep an eye out here tonight. Dean, you look at these guys out on track right now. You see Joseph Gravala, Chris Wilhite, all getting laps in right now. Should be a pretty good stacked field.
Yeah, it should be a good field. We also got a few newcomers, or at least haven't been around much. Guys like Patrick Byrne in the 28 is here tonight. James Watson returns. Henry Brixcorn, not sure about the name, but the number 15, he'll be on the track tonight. So we got a couple of semi-newcomers to newcomers out here and a bigger field, but all the main players like, Wilhite, Mr. Excitement, J.W. Miller out there, Mario Miranda back on track. So yeah, it's going to be the top action here. For sure, we've got three cars who are going to be locked together, maybe more.
Yeah, exactly right, Dean. You look at some of these drivers you're talking about. Henry that's here tonight. Bryce Scorn that's here tonight for the first time, and also you have Sebastian Kinder, the Frenchman, back out here tonight. So it should be good. Scott Weiss, Brandon Ishkanen making his I think debut in the series. He is a Clash Series driver, Pro Series driver. Also in here. So it's good to see this series getting some guys toward the back end of the series and make it look really nice out there for these guys. We got some times on the board. Wilhite going first right now, Dean. Jay Shallington nearly knocked him off the top, though.
And Shallington throwing up a really nice time. Well, it's actually a second off of Wilhite. So look for, and Miranda quite a bit off. Surprised to see that out of Mario Miranda. And I'm sure that might change here as we get it into the second laps.
And Wilhite, Dina, it's funny when we talked to Wilhite at the beginning of this season, he said, I'm not much on the road courses, but then we talked about Road America, and then now here Watkins Glen. I think Wilhite might be trying to throw people off his scent on his road course prowess.
Yeah, well, rumor has it people have been seeing sand fly out of that car, so perhaps a few sandbags kicking around. Who knows? But Wilhite, probably being honest here, that it's just not his forte, but he is a class driver. I mean, he's a pro-level driver, and he's going to pick up these things. He's going to work at it, and you can see his efforts paying off.
Still got some guys coming across. Watson goes to second place here. And unfortunately, due to a gaffe, I'll say, we don't have live coverage of qualifying, so we're just kind of watching the times here. We're giving it a couple more minutes, get some times in here, and then we're going to hear our national anthem. and begin our race here at Watkins Glen. See some guys dropping around the back, Dean. Kinder going 10th quickest, and Ball going 7th quickest.
Yeah, some of these guys putting up some decent times. It's really, I'm in shock still at the top of the board that Wilhite, a second quicker or almost a second quicker over second place. I mean, some of these oval drivers like a Chris Wilhite, a little more familiar with Watkins again, and perhaps that's playing into
User
why he's
joined
so
your
good here.
channel.
JW and Mario Miranda show their muscle late in qualifying here and come in second and third.
Exactly right. And it's going to be a tight field for these guys here. And we have to talk a little bit about strategy too, Dean. Always on the road courses, as you guys know at home, we have the red primary tires and the black option tires. Those are going to be things that are going to be used a lot in this race. We'll have to see what the strategy is. Are the black tires actually going to come to the forte? Now, they did have an update a couple weeks ago. I don't think we've ran a road course since that update. They kind of made the stability between those two tires a little bit different. And then you also have to think about the push to pass and when you're going to use it on a track that has so many straightaways.
Yeah, push to pass can be pretty big. I mean, we've seen a lot of these things with the adjustments in the car, like the weight jacker and the push to pass. Some of these guys not too familiar early in the season with these adjustments. They've learned over the course of these races so far. They're getting better at it, and they're starting to catch up to maybe the few that did know how to do it. Now, many guys do. So, really starting to be quite interesting in this Indy series.
We're about to wrap up qualifying here. We got about 3 minutes left. I don't believe anybody else is going to take any times. You can see the times posted on the top. Wilhite, half a second over James Watson. Then we got Miller, Miranda, all within about a second, less than a second. Shallington as well, all within less than a second of Wilhite's time as we are wrapping up qualifying here. Good, decent field tonight. 16 drivers have taken times, but it looks like we have, if my count's correct, about 21 drivers here tonight.
Yeah, looking like somewhere in the neighborhood of 21 drivers out here. A nice sized field here for an IndyCar driver. Is I guess AJ Hobson's still out on the track. That's good to see that he's trying to lay down the time. But yeah, it's a little better. I mean, this is what happens when you start a new series, Jared. You've got your regulars, right? The guys you can rely on, and you want to add some people, and you want to be selective. So we've seen a slow increase over the course of this season, and I think they're doing it the right way here at the Elite Sim Racing Association.
All right, we're going to take a quick commercial break, hear our national anthem, and be back for the starting grid here at Watkins Glen International.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave
right, we are back live here at Watkins Glen International, and the drivers getting lined up here on the grid, and we're going to take a look and see how these guys are going to start out here tonight. Dean, Chris Wilhite and James Watson on row number 1. J.W. Miller and Mario Miranda will line up in row number 2. Looking at row 3, we have Jay Shallington and Jim Brooks. And then in row 4, we have Patrick Byrne making his first ESRA Indycar start, and Joseph Gravala. And then row 10, AJ Hobson returning again with Alex Ball back there.
Yeah, then we got Sebastian Kinder in the 97 start 11th. It's going to be Benjamin Combs in the 27 start, and then 12th, 13th will be the 51. Matt Jorgensen. Cullen Johnston will roll off in 14th in the 9 car. Gary Corley in the 78 will roll off 15th, with Jason Hand in 16th position. Thaddeus McMurray, Scott Weiss, Alex Ress, Henri Brexcorn, and Brandon Ishkanen will round out the field.
So a jam-packed field here tonight, Dean, and we have all kinds of different looks here tonight. It's going to be great to see these guys get around this track, as we are going to be racing for 35 laps here.
Yeah, 35 laps seems pretty short, but it's a very long haul around this track. Kind of treacherous at spots. You know, you got to go through those S's after turn 1. You've got the bus stop. You got the boot. I mean, you got a lot of areas here, Jared, and a couple of decent passing areas as well, where we're going to see perhaps some hard braking, some guys trying to come down the inside and take that spot.
Yeah, exactly. And it's going to be one of those things that we're going to have to look out and see how these guys can get through these sections of the track, because there are so many passing zones on this track. In my opinion, one of the most favorable tracks here tonight as far as passing goes. And I apologize, it's 36 laps, not 35.
Well, there you go. You just added a lap to the intensity of this race. And, you know, this is an intense race, Jared, for some. I mean, you got the points leader on the pole. These guys are going to have to do something with him. And I think, you know, Watson up there, he looks fast. You got Miranda and Miller right there. They've got to make a move early.
Looking on some of these cars here, Dean, it's a lot of awesome vehicles, you have to say, here on this track. Always, the IndyCar Series puts in a lot of awesome paints, and we have no shortage of that again tonight, as these guys working their way through the bus stop and get the race going here in just a moment.
Yeah, these cars are fantastic. You know, I talk a lot about the look of the IndyCar in particular, but not only that, these paint jobs, you got all kinds of various paint schemes out here. Just love them, what these guys are doing here at ESRA.
Dean, you look through this field, you got some guys back toward the back that, you know, I expect to move forward. Alex Ball, your guy in the 29, they're in 10th place. He's got a lot of work to do to move up here at Watkins Glen, but he is one of the best managers on the push-to-pass button.
He manages to push to pass. He manages his vehicle. He manages his danger levels. And I'll put money right now that you'll see Ball in the top 5 one way or another. He'll end up there at the end of the night. He always does.
Putting money down. There we go.
I got money on the 29 anytime.
And we just want to check in on those track temperatures. It has gone down to 98 degrees, so a little bit more racy conditions that we're going to get here right before the start, as a cloud has moved over the track. We've seen this a couple times in a few of the races, Dean, where that cloud cover can really impact the racing that goes on the track. And right now we got a pretty big cloud over the track.
Yeah, it must be to be covering the spot that it is, but it does have a big impact, and that's the type of thing where, I mean, these are the type of things guys have to adjust for. Not the cars so much, but their driving. They have to be prepared for these swings in temperature and grip level and make those adjustments. Those who do it the best, they're going to be up front. It's going to be a highly entertaining start here, Jared.
Guys are stacked up here. We got a couple more corners here to go. And you look on these beautiful vehicles here tonight, as we have 19 vehicles, 21 vehicles. It looks like Henry Breikstorm and Brandon Ishkanen might be starting from the pits. We'll have to keep an eye on that, as they are not on the grid right now. But the pace car coming out of the last turn here, goes down to pit road, and green flag is out here at Watkins Glen, and Chris Wilhite with a great start as they drag race down to turn number 1.
Mario Miranda with a power move down to the inside.
And Wilhite off a little bit. Miranda got a stock on him.
Miranda came out the best there. He's going to move up to second. That's not great news for Wilhite. Oh, and a little contact with J.W. Miller. Wheels touching there between Watson and Miller.
Weiss has crashed, and Miller has a massive issue. That car, the left front is broken on that machine. He is struggling right now.
That Weiss you were talking about who has damage?
Weiss is back onto pit road. Looks like he had a major wreck with A.J. Hobson. And Miller is the one with the damaged left front suspension.
Oh, Miller, the little contact with, I believe, James Watson there. They just touched wheels, but this is open wheel racing, not NASCAR. So very unfortunate to see who the guy we deem Mr. Excitement falling back to 11th.
See these guys working their way through the boot section here. Got Wilhite, Miranda, James Watson, Jay Shillington, Patrick Byrne, your top 5 right now. And we look back at the Frenchman, Sebastian Kinder. And we're actually getting a yellow flag, Dean.
We are having a yellow flag. Very interesting. Try and see what happened here. I'm not sure. They could involve Jim Brooks. I'll have a look in on him.
Let's see what we can get on that, because this is highly unusual to get a caution on a road course. And I don't see any indication that it was manually thrown, but again, could be wrong about that.
Well, Brooks is sitting. I mean, he hit the wall very, very hard and was sitting on the track, and he was already previously in some kind of trouble. So, not sure. I think that's what caused it, though.
So it looks like this was a admin thrown caution here. Let's take a look and see what happened to Jim Brooks here. Here he comes, coming up in the boot section, up over the hill, and just locks it up going in the first turn there, entering the boot, and heavy impact for the 76, spins it around, and big impact for the 76 machine. Let's see what happened to J.W. Miller at that start too, Dean, while we're here. Or actually, let's take a look at Scott Weiss first.
Yeah, you may want to check on J.W. Miller, the last event he had, because he has more problems, Jared.
It looks like there was somebody, it's the 2 car of A.J. Hobson had issues, and Scott Weiss nowhere to go on the start, runs over him. Just bad play, wrong place, wrong time for Scott Weiss. Let's see if we can see what happened to A.J. Hobson that started this thing off. So Hobson, it looks like he got a little contact. It looks like that could have been Thaddeus McMurray he got a little contact with. And again, damaged suspension on that machine, Dean. And we'll take a look at J.W. Miller and see what happened to him, too.
Yeah, he had some that residual damage from the start of the race was still on the car and causing him to wreck.
So he's coming up through the boot section here. And, yeah, just no turn. No left front tire. He's not going to get that thing to turn. Loses the front wing in the process.
So early on here, Gerald, very serious stuff happening. JW out, several incidents early on, and I'm a little in shock because we have not seen a caution, I don't believe, on a road course as of yet in this series. So this is new here, and sometimes it happens, but we'll get them restacked and we'll take another run at this.
Yeah, and this is one of those circumstances that these guys are the reason why the caution came out is because it was admin thrown, and there has to be a specific parameters that they're going to throw it for, but we don't know exactly if it was just so many vehicles wrecking there. But a little surprised to see a caution come out, but it is going to be playing right into the hands of J.W. Miller, who's going to get that fast repair and be able to get back around this track and not lose too much time.
Even think he'll lose a lap. So JW right back in this, and here's where he thrives, you know, for us. This is why we call him Mr. Excitement. We'll get to watch him work from 14th, and I assure you, if he does not get in another incident, he will move forward. And he is still dragging that left front tire, so he's coming back in, Jared.
Yeah, I don't think he's... I don't know. That's a good point. He does. Yeah, I don't think he's got it repaired yet, Dean, because he's still missing the front wing too, unless he's had
They
another
have
off.
to repair it anymore, so he might have been just taking some repair time to try and get it fixed, but maybe no fast repair.
Carr's got some massive damage here. You can hear the suspension dragging there. Looks like we're going to have at least 3 laps of caution in total. So, you know, looking at this field, Dean, I mean, Mario Miranda, what a power move on the start there. Unbelievable.
Yeah, Mario Miranda going to be highly aggressive. He always is. He's controlled aggression. He does a great job. Doesn't really cause incidents, but he is not content with even second place. He'll be moving and looking for first. Update on JW. It looks like there was a fast repair. He's got it now. So he'll be in 15th instead of 14th, and a fresh machine there.
Yeah, it's going to be highly entertaining as these guys coming down the back straightaway here, Dean. You know, you think about points implications. This is a big race for JW Miller because we don't know officially, but we think Chris Wilhite will not be at the race next week at Gateway.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And that puts, you know, Miller is 30 back, Ball 64 back, Coates is 68 back. I don't believe Coates is here either, or Mateus. So it's really Ball and Miller that are looking to capitalize here, and in particular Miller. So he has got to save that car, what's left of it, and get through this race and somehow beat Chris Wilhite. I mean, you brought up next week, Wilhite not here, so perhaps he doesn't have to beat him tonight, but he definitely has to, you know, stay on the track here, get himself a nice top 10 or something, and stay within reach.
Yeah, exactly. And that's going to be the crucial thing. But Mario Miranda making a return. He hasn't been around in the past couple of races, even on the road courses. So Miranda making his return to the series, and nothing to gain or nothing to lose here, I should say, because he is going straight for wins here tonight. But then you have these new guys, Watson, Shallington, and Patrick Byrne, and the Frenchman Sebastian Kinder. That's a bunch of thirsty drivers for a victory as well.
Is. It really is. Anytime a guy joins a series this late, he's trying to do 2 things. One, make a good showing to make his name, you know, a good name here, a clean driver, a fast driver. But otherwise, all he's racing for is a race win. So these guys, Watson, Shallington, Byrne, Kinder, you know, you got others down here. Not sure if they're still hanging in there. But anyway, those guys, definitely, it's win or go home pretty much for them.
Right, exactly right, Dean. Looks like we'll get the pace car lights. Sometimes the pace car lights will go off. Oh, no, we're going on the front straightaway, so hopefully we'll get the one to go here.
Pacing around Watkins Glen can be a little cumbersome here and take another lap, but that's fine. I mean, it just gives us a chance to look over some of these guys. You know, we talked about Sebastian Kinder. I don't think he was here last week, but big following out of France there. And, you know, I like what he was able to do in the couple of times we've seen him. He's had decent runs, kept fairly clean. So these are the type of things these guys are looking for in this league, Jared. They want to get clean, hard racers.
Yeah, exactly right. And Sebastian Kinder has done a very good job when he's been out on the track. And it really looks to be in a position tonight. It looked very quick in practice. He could be a guy that we have to keep an eye on as this race goes forward. And, you know, we look at some of these other guys. Garrett Corley making a return back to the series. Good to see him out here. You know, and you look at AJ Hobson, who unfortunately is a lap down thanks to that early issue, but he's back out here. He was the Indy winner in this series.
Yeah, AJ Hobson, you know, having that early incident here, that's going to put him way back, but no slouch. And they're going to go racing whether they're a lap down or not. So Weiss, Hobson, and Gravala, Joseph G out here, all a lap down right now.
And it looks like Brandon Ishkanen and Henry Bregskorn did not start and have not attempted to go out on track yet. So we will keep an eye on that and see if they do end up going out there. But right now it looks like that they have decided to not start this event. So that will give us 19 drivers on the track right now in this field.
Yeah, interesting there, the decision, but perhaps a little practice and thought, you know what, this is pretty rough out here. Maybe I don't want to go wreck some cars and take out some points contenders.
Now, Dan, this Watkins Glen boot section, I mean, it's a unique challenge for these drivers because you go down into the turn and it's basically you go up a hill and then go back down the hill. So it's a really interesting challenge. How much does that play into these drivers that are familiar with Watkins Glen but not maybe familiar with the boot section?
A lot. It really throws these guys who run a lot of Watkins Glen, but not this section. It's going to mentally throw them off every lap. They're going to come down there. They're going to be thinking about taking a turn and then going, no, I don't take that turn. Now you're messed up for the next few turns. You're just mentally not really there. And you throw in the fact that it's down a hill, back up a hill, back down a hill, different braking styles, different turn-in styles, very tricky little technical section there. And yeah, it's going to play into guys who aren't used to it. But I got a feeling most of these guys can handle it with no problem.
Some beautiful scenery here at Watkins Glen. The pace car is making its way around turn number, I guess that's actually turn 15 for this layout. Normally turn 12 and turn 13 there. And here we go. We're about ready to get this thing going again here at Watkins Glen with Chris Wilhite in the lead, followed by Mario Miranda and James Watson. We're down and away. Chris Wilhite with a great jump, but Miranda didn't let him get away too easily.
Yeah, and single file, he got a little better jump there. He's going to hold them off at least for this lap. Back in the pack, some guys getting a little racy on here, and one guy's sliding through the corner.
Have to see who that was. It looks like several drivers off. Is that Hobson again? It is.
Yeah, E.J. Hobson just barreling down the inside, a lap down. Not sure the thinking on that one, but here up front, it's going to be Miranda. He's showing that car left. He's showing it right. He's filling up that mirror, as they say, Jared.
On board Miranda through the inner loop, going through the outer loop now into the chute, and then we're going to come into the toe area of the track. And Miranda getting a nice run out of here. And Dean, we're looking at those push to passes. Wilhite's already used one.
I've seen that in Corley's used a couple. Combs has used one. Very interesting. That was before this restart they had used those, so not sure when they decided to use them, but early on for sure.
Watson starting to make a little bit of gain back up on Miranda. Miranda, as the cloud cover comes back out here at Watkins Glen, looks to be losing just a little bit of traction through the heel and the toe areas as he comes back up on the back straightaway here at Watkins Glen. Just didn't have a good time through the boot there, it looked like.
Yeah, he didn't. He was right there at one point when we cut to him, and he's lost a little bit of track position here. As I think especially early laps kind of favor Chris Wilhite. He's a very controlled driver, very precise driver. Miranda, top notch, top speed, but he's going to go, right? He wants to go and go now. It's going to be a little bit loose here, a little bit out of control for a lap or two, but just watch him as the run goes on. He's only going to get quicker.
Yeah, and don't forget there's the weight jackers, the anti-roll bars, the engine mapping that all these drivers can play with, on top of the fact that they have push to pass and different tire selections. So we'll see how this plays out in this race. But right now, Wilhite increasing his lead up to 0.7 of a second. And let's see if Miranda can get through the boot area a little bit better this time around.
Interesting as this race goes on, Jared, we'll take a look at these sectors and just see. I think you're going to see a distinct difference in sectors. It seems Miranda early on is going to be a little quicker, with Wilhite a little faster on the back end.
So right there, Sector 1, Miranda was, and Wilhite about the same. Sector 2, Miranda actually went purple, which means the fastest sector time in the race. And then Sector 3, Wilhite put 3/10 on him. That's basically the boot section.
Completely sums it up, and I mean that's the boot. The boot, we've been talking about it, and perhaps it's biting Miranda. He will get better at it as this race goes on, though.
Yeah, he lost a half a second from the inner loop all the way to the exit of the boot. So that's going to be his trouble spot. Sector 1, 2, and 5, he is pretty much dead on or better than Wilhite.
It's such an interesting dynamic. He can win, 3 out of 4, 4 out of 5 sectors. You lose one, and actually you're losing total lap time. So, you got to be good everywhere.
Wilhite actually put in the best lap of the race so far at a 128.15. We check a little bit further back in the pack. James Watson doing a good job in third position. We saw him last week, Dean. He was up front, and just the car seemed to fade as the race went on. And you kind of have to wonder if it's an oval thing or if it's a road course thing or just an in general thing to see how James Watson could do tonight.
Yeah, it will be interesting. We don't know enough about him, but he looked good in practice, qualified well. Here he is running third. It looks pretty, content to run here right now, putting in really good times, sub 129 times. So, yeah, he could be a factor here, no doubt about it.
And we look at some of these other guys. We got Alex Ball battling. He's gotten around Sebastian Kinder, so move the 29 machine up into sixth position. He's up 4 positions right now.
Shocking. My bet almost coming through already as he's up to 6th place, closing in on that top 5. I mean, this is what he does, and it just amazes me week after week. Not only that he does it, but that nobody really seems to pick up on how he races and kind of learn from it, because I'm telling you, this is the way you want to get around the track. It might not be a race winning maneuver, but it's a top 3 in points. It's a top 5 in the race. It's just a solid way to be a league racer.
Exactly right. Right behind him, Kinder up 4 positions, but our big gainers are right now Matt Jorgensen up 5 positions in that 51 machine, bringing it from 13th to 8th. He's got a big battle on his hands from Benjamin Combs, and we've seen Benjamin Combs do really good on the road courses, but kind of got himself in trouble in qualifying. Started 12th, and dirty air is a big thing even on the road courses.
And Combs, one of those guys, he's on the cusp of being a great driver. He shows flashes of brilliances at all tracks, ovals, road courses, doesn't matter. But he's, doesn't really sustain it yet. He's going to get there, Jared. He is the next, Chris Wilhite, Mario Miranda, whatever. But behind him, got to mention JW starting to close in already, as he's already moved up 5 spots on the track from where he was.
Yeah, and he's turning lap times a second quicker than all these drivers around him, second quicker than Combs, Jorgensen, Kinder, Ball, Shallington, Byrne, as we have a little bit of battle up here. Byrne is in the wall hard, right in front of Ball.
Wow, Patrick Byrne, that's a shame for him.
And we're going to have to take a look at the replay and see, but that nose is gone. Get a quick look at the replay here. So here he comes. This is through the boot section, coming back up onto the NASCAR back straightaway here. And he's got, the car just gets, and that's a tough spot, Dean, and you know it very well. You can get very loose coming back off that boot section on the back straightaway.
Definitely. That really reminded me of the old, power wobble from a motorbike, Jared. As it Carr, you can't handle it. It's gone.
And the reason why that turn is so treacherous is because it's off camber. So you go from you're going uphill, and then the turn just kind of breaks away and becomes very flat, very off camber, and there's not a lot of grip with the tires, even with the reds, and you have to be very, very gentle putting the throttle on.
Absolutely. Do I get paid now or later, Jared?
Alex Ball de facto gets in the top 5 through that incident, but he is still moving forward, Dean. 5 seconds to get to Jay Shallington, though. Or 2 seconds, sorry.
And, he's content right here. This is exactly what we're talking about. He's not in a hurry to get to him. He's going to focus on his marks. He's going to love this track space. Nobody around him. It's just him and the track. This is exactly what Ball wants. I mean, of course he wants to get up there and win. Everybody does. But as a racer who wants to clean, he wants finish after finish on the board and top 5s, this is how you do it, man. I can never say enough about him. But there's another style out here. That's Mr. Excitement, or even Mario Miranda. These guys like to go, and they go hard. And I got to tell you, I enjoy that style just as much.
Yeah, J.W. Miller now up to 8th place, following Benjamin Combs. So Jorgensen losing out there. He's going to drop to 9th. Our big mover of the race, though, Dean, Alex Ress, up 11 spots. He started dead last on the grid, and that 09 is now into the top 10, just ahead of Gary Corley and Thaddeus McMurray.
Yeah, Ress, another great driver. He does the same thing. He moves up the board week after week after week. Maybe not the greatest qualifier in the world, but a great racer, keeps that thing clean as well. Yeah, 11 spots on the night. Really, really doing a nice job here.
And Gary Corley just behind him. And then we have Thaddeus McMurray and Cullen Johnston. These guys, all the lead lap drivers right now. But back up front, it's Wilhite and Miranda. And they've really opened up that gap on James Watson. But Miranda, he's been hovering around that 1 to 9/10 of a second kind of area right now, Dean.
Yeah, he is. He's hovering here. And I don't know how much is strategy or how much it's just Wilhite. I mean, Wilhite, he said it. He said this is like one road track that he's familiar with and that he likes. So watch out if he likes this thing. Yeah, and he's doing a great job here so far. I think we'll see Miranda come in on him though, Jared, eventually. Like, Miranda's not going to let him go. He's just too competitive. He will push. He'll find that time somewhere.
Yeah, and Dean, we've seen it at the road courses, Road America. We saw this at Barber Motorsports Park, Coda. Pit strategy always comes into play at these tracks. Undercut or overcut, and that's going to be something that can make or break this race for these two drivers here. As Miranda down to 0.6 of a second, very good through what I'll call the NASCAR portion of Watkins Glen. But when he gets into this IndyCar sports car section of the track, Wilhite is just really mopping the floor with him right now.
Yes, I mean, it's a tale of two tracks for these guys, really, and we'll see how that plays out as the race goes on. Obviously, Miranda has to find his way around that section of the track a little bit better.
Yeah, sector 1 and 2, which is all the beginning parts of the NASCAR, all the way through the exit of the boot, the exit of the inner loop. He is faster than Wilhite, but going through sector 3, which is the start of the outer loop, all the way to the back straightaway on the boot, he lost 0.4 of a second. Now he is picking up a little bit on the second half of that boot, which is the exit of the boot to the NASCAR turn 10, and he was actually just right on top of Wilhite, so he might be figuring some stuff out, Dean.
Might, but there's something going on down there deep in the boot where it could be a gearing issue, just an angle issue, maybe a braking issue. I'm not sure, but maybe we'll get as the race goes on, we'll get some cockpit views of that and just see maybe what's going on with these guys.
Yeah, let's see if we can get on board right now with Mario Miranda. He's coming through this section right now, the inner loop, as you guys in NASCAR call it there, going into the outer loop, and now he's coming back across the track, entering the boot section through the chute.
You see he's down to second gear there. Everything looks quite appropriate here. I don't see any real issues.
And I believe it, honestly, Dean, I believe it's this turn. And you see him wash out. Yeah, he just washes out a little bit there.
I think he's just got a really bad angle there and maybe a little too much speed at the wrong time early in that corner. Perhaps not getting that thing woed down quite enough to get that proper angle.
Yeah, and the key to that they call that the toe corner. The key to that toe corner, there's a strip of concrete there. You got to stay on top of it, but you got to kind of angle that car out so you enter high, cut down the middle, and that way you can exit out and get a good run down that straightaway. And I think that's where Mario Miranda is kind of losing his time right now. And but he's starting to he is making progress as this race goes on, like you hypothesized, Dean.
Yeah, and he will. It's just who he is. He's so competitive. And, I love that about a driver, that his only objective, he knows nothing else than winning, Wilhite's the same way, but a little different in the fact that he's a championship driver. He's going to protect his championship, and he's right there now. Miranda has closed this gap.
Well, back in the back here, J.W. Miller with a power move on the outside going into turn 1, passing Sebastian Kinder. So J.W. Miller up to 6th place. Wanted to check in on him. Up front, though, again, Miranda is sniffing there. It's down to half a second, but he locks it up going into the exiting the chute, Dean. Can he get something back here going into tow?
It didn't really hurt him that bad, but yeah, it's just not his section yet. He's slowly will figure it out. But again, back to 1 second as he just cannot figure out that boot.
Look at those sector times one more time here. And I know we're harping on it. Mario Miranda's a great driver, but you can't lose 0.6 of a second in one sector. That's just not going to get you the gap down that you need to. And that's a lot of time he's given up there.
Yeah, we know his dad out there, Joe, is watching, and other Mirandas out there watching. Man, we can't say enough good things about Mario Miranda. But if anybody's got his ear in that car, you got to tell him to get through that boot a little better, and he'd be right there.
Looking a little bit further back, James Watson, I mean, he is just having a Sunday drive out here. There is not a single soul around the 39 machine. 6 seconds behind our leader, and he's about 8 seconds ahead of Jay Shallington. Do you like being in those kind of positions, Dean, or does it kind of lull you into maybe making a mistake when you're kind of by yourself on the track?
You tend to really like it. Get alone on the track, start focusing on your marks, but you do bring up the point of lulling you to sleep. Eventually, as this race goes along, as we get into the 20s, lap 25, 27, and so on, yes, you do. You get prone to making a mistake because you're just on autopilot. You're not really pushing. You're not doing anything. And all of a sudden, your mind may wander. I don't know. I'm a little older, Jared. My mind wanders on occasion.
Yeah, you're sitting there thinking like, hey, what did I have for lunch today? I already forgot. I'm kidding.
Exactly.
I'm kidding. Looking back a little bit further, Jay Shallington, this is where our battle is. Jay Shallington about 3 seconds ahead, but Alex Ball, he's got company, Dean, and it's Mr. Excitement behind him.
Mr. Excitement trying to take money out of my pocket tonight and take Ball out of the top 5. He'll get this done. There's no doubt about it. And it's just a matter of how many laps it's going to take him here. Ball, a classy driver who, again, just focuses on a clean race. He's going to let JW go the first chance he gets.
And you look, that gap's come from 3.5 seconds between these two drivers down to 1.1 seconds. And Ball is in the pits, Dean.
As is Wilhite, Miranda, Watson.
So Jay Shallington will take over the lead, but we also have Kinder in as well.
Really weren't prepared for that, Jared. Early pit stops. Wilhite down and away, beating Miranda off pit road by a fairly substantial margin there.
And Dee, do you think that was a situation where Miranda probably wasn't thinking about pitting and then ended up having to pit to cover off an undercut?
I don't know who made the move first. We were on Ball. We thought Ball made the first move. I'm really not sure what happened there. Perhaps it's just gas mileage. You wouldn't think they'd be chugging that much, but with all those caution laps on lap 15, so we're definitely on a 2-stopper here, Jared. We'll be looking for pit stops opening up somewhere around, 25, lap 25 or so would be your window where it would open up.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And we'll have to see how this is going to play out, because this could be huge. Again, we don't specifically know the gas mileage, so they might even be able to make it from here with some fuel saving. But I think that'd be a tough ask for these guys right now.
Yeah, definite tough ask. I mean, Jay Shallington out here leading this thing. J.W. Miller is still on the track as well.
Shallington.
Yeah, Shallington is in. So Miller's going to stay out. He's going to lead himself a lap. But, I mean, I don't see them getting to the halfway mark. And with those caution laps, it's almost irrelevant anyway. You're not going to get those cautions on the second half of the race.
Right.
So, interesting, though. I mean, I kind of like what JW's doing. Like, if you look in on his best time versus his last time, and you see he's not that far off. He's about a second behind, but he also had some traffic. So, I mean, he's not losing a whole lot of time out here.
Yeah, about a dead even second. It's 3 hundredths of a second. So yeah, I mean, this is very good. And Dean, I'm seeing Miranda might be back in pit road.
Oh my goodness, Mario Miranda back on pit lane.
I don't know if he had a drive-through. I don't see any indications of damage, but that was on and off pit road. Let's see if maybe we can get some information on that, Dean.
I'm looking at it, and I don't see any reason other than he probably sped or did something, or didn't get tires. Hard to say, Jared.
So there you go. Maybe a penalty or something for Mario Miranda, but that's going to be huge.
Trying to look in on his first entry into pit road and see if something in fact happened to him. If he just did not get, he must have got tires. I don't know. Sometimes the gas man doesn't fill up your tank. Who knows, Jared?
Yeah, that's going to be an interesting thing, because he had to come in back again pretty quickly. J.W. Miller's in. Chris Wilhite, you'll see him in the background. There he is. He's going to go ahead and take over the lead. So now Wilhite's got some clean sailing as Miranda's kind of been taken out of this equation.
Yeah, Miranda has, and this is all roses for Wilhite. This is what he wants, especially if he may miss another race or two. He's going to want to extend this points lead as far as humanly possible. And, man, everything going his way. You know, we keep talking about Miranda, Miller, Ball, or anyway, those guys. And we're leaving out Wilhite, you know, because we talk so much about him. But what a fantastic driver, Jared. Not prone to mistakes, has strategy thought out and planned ahead of time. He's ready for different things that occur. He's got alternate strategies prepared and just so smooth, man. This guy is so tough to beat.
Yeah, he is. And Wilhite is doing such a good job. And this is what he needs. You know, if he misses another race or two, he's got to get all the points he possibly can. So he needs the pole, which gets you some bonus points. He got that. Lead the laps, he's got that. And win the race, he's on the track to get that.
Just as a side note, Ball back into the top 5.
And now he's got, by the way, J.W. Miller, the overcut, paying off for him. He stayed out long. He comes out just ahead of Ball and has been able to increase that gap. And now he's on the back of Jay Shallington for the last spot on the podium. So J.W. Miller making some moves here in that number 6 machine.
Really is. And, you know, we'll see when he gets clear track just how close those times are to our leader, Chris Wilhite. But I doubt he could make up 20 seconds here. You never know. 18 laps. It'd have to be one heck of a run from the excitement himself. But he definitely could get his way into third here and perhaps even second.
So he is there. Ball has Miranda on the back bumper of him. So Ball just, you know, not getting a break. I think you put a hex on him, Dean. He's not going to be able to finish in the top 5 because all these guys are going to catch up to him before the end of the race.
You know, he ends up there one way or another. Just far from over, so I wouldn't count him out. But yeah, he's going to eventually, Miranda's going to get by him. Combs behind them doing a nice job here. He's up 5 spots, and he's putting on a nice showing. Not far off the pace from Ball and Miranda.
Yeah, the guy that kind of dropped off on those pit stops was Sebastian Kinder. He had a pretty good in-lap, but his out-lap must not have been very good because he's been lost 3 positions from where he came in the pits. So the Frenchman dropping down the order just a little bit to 8th. Patrick Byrne had that damage, got it fixed. He is in 9th place. Now, he has not made a pit stop yet, so he pitted on lap 8. So it'll be interesting to see when he comes in because he's going to stretch this thing all the way out, I would assume. And then we have Matt Jorgensen in 10th place, just ahead of Gary Corley.
And these guys back here just getting in, doing the work they need to do to get some decent lap times in and try and get themselves a top 10. And they're all doing a nice job, but you know, we kind of been skipping around when we talk about our leaders to some of the known names, the guys we know really well. But let's give a shout out to James Watson and Jay Shallington, man. 2nd and 3rd here. Both of them really have a nice nights here. Shallington under heat from JW right now.
And Watson, we talked about him a little bit earlier, kind of having like we said, a Sunday drive right now. Nobody's around him for miles. But right now, J.W. Miller looking on the inside as Jay Shallington coming into the inner loop, Dean.
He's going to get this spot here and hope for no contact, and they do a nice job there. And that's a little bit of a tricky place there. It's a passing zone entering there, but man, is it tough to get it done.
Yeah, and Dean, talk a little bit about what makes that bus stop area, the inner loop, very difficult because it is a great spot in NASCAR. You drive it down under there, you get it in the grass, and maybe make a little hargy-bargy move. But in the IndyCar, you can't quite do that.
No, you can't do it. But, I mean, there's a lot of similarities there, right? Because it's a pretty flat section there. You got very hard braking, followed by trying to get on the accelerator and get those angles right. You've got a lot of weight transferring front to back, left to right. Just a lot can go wrong there in a hurry.
So we look at these guys here. Like we said, James Watson doing a heck of a job, 2nd place. And he is 11 seconds behind Wilhite, 10 seconds ahead of J.W. Miller. So, like we said, pretty much by himself. J.W. Miller is in third, but Jay Shallington, don't look now, Jay. You got Mariah Miranda coming up on you.
Yeah, Mario Miranda looking to recover, driving angry, if you will, and that'll do it to you. And I wonder if now that he's probably driving pretty angry, if he can get through that section a little better, because sometimes that's all you need to do is kind of forget about your marks and all that stuff and just drive with some real, anger or enthusiasm.
The one thing he does have in his pocket, Dean, is those push to pass. He still has 9 left. Jay Shallington has not used any, but Mario Miranda is there on Jay Shallington right now for fourth.
And Shellington there is not going to move over, I don't think. So, and
wow.
Yeah, he's going to have to make that move, and he does.
And that was the time, Dean, he had to make that move then because he doesn't want to lose any more time to J.W. Miller because J.W. Miller is starting to set off in the sunset from these guys.
He is. But, I like where he had to make that pass. Down in that boot section, I'm going to keep harping on it. But sometimes that's the best thing that could happen to you. You got to get off your line a bit, right? Make this move. Maybe it helped him. Maybe he found a little something making that move.
Yeah, we'll have to see how it turns out for him. But Miranda back on board with him going into turn NASCAR 11 here, out on the front straightaway. And Dean, this is such a very high speed road course. I mean, you look around the world, I don't think there's too many tracks that are more high speed than this. Maybe Monza might be the only other track that kind of comes to mind. This is a very demanding high speed track that you go on to race here.
It is. There's some really tricky sections. I mean, turn 1, hard braking down the hill, poor visuals, very difficult. This right here, coming in the bus stop, extremely hard braking. I mean, these Indy cars can handle it a lot better than any NASCAR. But a really nice job there. You see, you got to get on the curbing there and get those perfect angles. And here it is, down to his trouble section, Jared.
And we look at Miranda here, and we're looking at the time delta, D, and that gap a little bit deceiving because pit stops are in there. So we'll check back in on the time delta after this lap and see how he's doing compared to J.W. Miller. But we look a little bit further back on this group. We have Alex Ball starting to make a little bit more headroom toward Jay Shallington, but they have actually stepped away from Benjamin Combs. Thought maybe Benjamin Combs is going to be a challenger for this top 5-ish position, but hasn't quite gotten there yet.
Yeah, he was pushing pretty hard. He might have worn out his stuff a little bit. And if you look at his push to passes, only 5 left for Combs, so he's been using those quite a bit.
Yeah, that's something you have to manage. James Watson, by the way, 6 in the pocket, so he's been using them too. Now, he's still turning consistent 129s, but J.W. Miller was the fastest driver on the track last time by. So if Mario Miranda is going to catch him, he's going to need to really step it up. But the problem is Chris Wilhite was only a 10th off, so that's not going to get it done if you're J.W. Miller trying to catch the leaders.
No, I mean, Wilhite is on his game tonight. I don't believe anybody outside of a mistake from Wilhite, which, believe it or not, we've seen once in a while on a road course from him. But you're just not going to catch him. This race is going to be for second place. It's going to be interesting. James Watson's got that big gap to JW and Mario Miranda, but those guys are coming, man, and they're going to continue to push lap after lap.
So, Dean, I think we can estimate, maybe I'm off, but let's say 12 laps is what you're going to do on fuel. You start counting that back, you start thinking...
What's off?
Well, sorry, go ahead.
Watson just went around someone who was off the track right in front of him, was actually on the track, did an excellent job of avoiding a possible incident there.
And that was Scott Weiss, Dean. Heavy damage to the left front suspension for the Torque to Wrench Motorsports driver who is trying to nurse that thing back to pits, but got to be very careful not to get run over there. Oh, my goodness, Mario Miranda nearly ran him over there.
And all these guys having problems with him trying to make it to pit road there.
And I'm sure he's on the radio, but when you have 3 tires, it's hard to get that thing to turn. He does make it safely to pit road, but that could have been bad and dangerous. And Wilhite has put, looks like Colin Johnston a lap down, along with Thaddeus McMurray as well. So 12 cars remaining on the lead lap.
Yeah, 12 cars. We'll see that continue as Wilhite just really putting down a masterful performance here.
Looking a little bit further back again, James Watson. He's just kind of you know, you talked about Dean just kind of casually having a good day back there in second place. Haven't talked about him, but nobody's been around him all night long in that 39 machine, making his third race here at ESRA Indycar Series, but he is doing a heck of a job. And second place is a good run and could really springboard him into next season a little bit.
Absolutely. I mean, this is what you need. You know, before you get your first win, usually you got to get up here, run in that top three, you know, somewhere and get close. And then you start to realize, okay, I've done a lot right, but there's another level and I'll kick it up to that level. And I think you'll see that from Watson next season.
And, you know, Dean, I was just looking at turn 11 and turn 10. It looks like there is, if I'm not mistaken, some grass on the track.
Yeah, it could be, Jared. I do not see that currently. I'll have to take a look at it.
It looked like somebody was mowing their lawn and blew the grass right on the road. I could be, my eyes might be deceiving me, but that is very interesting. I don't know if somebody got off and it sprayed grass there or what happened, but it looked very strange to me, but we'll have to take a look and see. Not a big deal, obviously, but right now we check in on Miranda, who has opened the gap to Shallington, but can't close the gap to Miller. Those guys running pretty much identical times there.
And they're both closing in on Watson. It's not lightning fast close in, but they're picking up around a half second a lap on him. And if this continues, we've got about 13 laps. That's, you know, roughly the gap, Jared. So we're going to have Miller and Miranda closing in on Watson as this race winds down.
Benjamin Combs has elected to go ahead and head into pits. So Benjamin Combs, the first of our lead group to head in the pits. We'll have to see how this is going to play out for him as we're on board. Watson exiting the booth, coming up into NASCAR backstretch.
Said this is going to be, you know, the pits would open up around lap 25, you know, 24 here for Combs. I like the call. You love the undercut, Jared.
The undercut is always what I go for as we're on board. And, yeah, James Watson gonna stay out another lap. So I think if you're James Watson, if you can go, I think you got to make Chris Wilhite think about pitting a little bit sooner than maybe he wants to.
Yeah, I mean, I think if I'm Watson, I'm more focused on Miller and Miranda and what I want to do with them, right? Do I want to take the undercut away from them, or do I want to wait and have fresher tires than them? Tough decision for James Watson on what to do.
Yeah, and you know, you're probably right, Dean. I mean, honestly, you probably don't have a chance at Wilhite unless something happens to him. But you do need to cover off Miller and Miranda because those guys are coming in quickly. That gap has gone down to 8 seconds, and we bring up our time delta between Miller and Watson, and you'll see it. That gap has come down from 9.6 down to 7 seconds over the last 5 laps, Dean.
You know, Watson's doing a really nice job here in this lap, currently pushing that time back up close to 8 seconds. So something going on. Either Miller had a little mistake or just different timing sections, but Watson having a much better lap that time around.
Yeah, it looks like he may have used a push to pass, Dean. It looks like it's gone down to 5 now. I think he was at 7 before. Could be mistaken on that, but I do believe he has used a push to pass on this. There is lap traffic that Watson is dealing with right now. That is Murray, it looks like.
Yeah, but continues to open up. Like, kudos to him. And I see that grass down there you're talking about. But James Watson, yeah, he's doing a really nice job. And perhaps he's not that far off at all.
Oh! J.W. Miller hits the wall coming out of turn 11. That car got airborne, but I don't know if there's any damage, Dean. But he is still going. But that looked to be a pretty hard impact.
Just trying to get all he can get there, and he might have hit both wheels at the same time, kind of stabilizing that car and not causing too much damage. But boy, that's dangerous.
Just trying to get every inch, Dean, as you said, and that's going to allow Miranda to catch up a little bit more as that gap's gone down to a 1.3 seconds between those two.
Yeah, well, you talked about Watson looking ahead to Wilhite, or does he look back to Miller and Miranda? Well, Miller clearly looking ahead to Watson and trying to chase him, hitting the wall. He's got to think about behind him. Mario Miranda continues to come.
And Dean, you know, looking at the J.W. Miller, looks like he got extremely lucky because if you hit these cars, it will do some damage to the suspension, no matter how you hit them. But if you hit him in the right spot and you mostly hit the side pod part of it, not the wheel part of it, you can get away with kind of hitting the wall. And J.W. Miller must have done that because he is looking like he's still rocking and rolling out there.
Is in. Wilhite has taken the undercut away from the field. He is in.
So is Watson now. Will Miller and Miranda follow suit? Miller is going to stay out. So does Miranda.
Don't blame those guys at one bit. I mean, you got to try something different. Talk about it every week, Jared. You know, I know you like the undercut, but something different is what I like. So whatever Watson did, they just can't just mirror him, or it's gonna be a futile effort trying to catch him.
Yeah, and Miller, to be fair, also did extend out his pit window just a little bit because he did pit under that caution because of the damage. So he has a little bit more fuel in the tank. But Miranda is all over the back of him right now. And Wilhite is actually just 4 seconds behind these guys. So Wilhite is going to get out really right in their battle a little bit.
That's kind of interesting to see how he filters in here and whether potential problems there. Right now, though, Mario Miranda looking a little better than Miller. I don't know if he's shook up from that incident or is Carr perhaps a little shook up or damaged from that incident.
Yeah, it doesn't appear to be damaged, but it still could be damaged. These cars are very aero-sensitive, and like you said, Dean, could have damaged the psyche a little bit. You hit the wall, that kind of makes you think, oh, am I pushing a little bit too hard? I want to finish in second or third or fourth place. I don't want to finish in 14th.
You know, and the biggest thing we talk about when we come to any of these races is mistakes, Jared. Gotta drive mistake free. That's why I have such a thing about Ball and the way he drives, virtually mistake free, as they both come into the pits here. But you look at Chris Wilhite, mistake free. JW, couple of crashes early on, had to get a fast repair. Mario Miranda, pit road mistake. I mean, you can't have them if you're going to win these races.
Yeah, you're exactly right. So now Miranda and Miller, this is going to be a race off pit road. And, Dean, you might be able to save a little bit of time by taking less fuel if you don't have to take a full tank. Will somebody play that gamble, especially if you're Mario Miranda? Miranda's down the way. He might have taken less fuel, Dean. He's going to beat J.W. Miller out.
Going to kill Miller. Miller's still in the pits. Miller just sitting there. Not sure what's going on with J.W. Miller.
Is it damage or did he speed coming in the pits? It's definitely one of those two at this point.
Got to be a speeding penalty. He is still sitting there, Jared.
Wow, this race is turned upside down.
We've talked about mistakes. Here's yet another one. I mean, these guys cannot make these mistakes. Now, JW had won 2 consecutive races. He won by a lap last week on an oval. Unbelievable job he had. But when you make mistakes like you have tonight, you can't expect a top 3 finish. And he is currently shown in 10th and just leaving pit road now.
I believe, Dean, according to our math here, I think he's going to come out about 6 seconds ahead of our race leader. Yes, he is. So he is going to be right at the tail end of the lead lap here.
Just a shocking development. And you're looking on Miranda going down the straightaway, warming the tires, Jared. He's ready to rumble. He's looking forward to James Watson. Somehow, with the overcut, he has gained 2.5 seconds through that pit stop sequence. Maybe that short fuel you talked about.
Well, let's take a look at those pit lane times, something that we haven't talked a lot about tonight, but they really have come in to be a factor right now. Wilhite 39.7, but Watson a 41.3, Miranda a 38.3. 3 seconds right there, Dean, on just entering pit road.
Oh, and that is all of it right there. That's what he gained. That's what you've got to do. I don't know what kind of risk he's taking with possible running out of fuel, but I love it. I love it. You got to try something different. Miranda trying everything he can. Little update on Matt Jorgensen. He lost control through the boot area, kind of got into the wall. Some pretty significant damage to that vehicle.
And he is slow up on the exit of the boot, trying to get the car. I'm not sure if he's going to try to park that thing. Yes, he is going back to pits, so he will get off the track. But Chris Wilhite, the Chris Wilhite show, back in action here at ESRA Indy as we approach 6 laps to go here at Watkins Glen. And what more can you say about this guy? Looking for his first road course win of the year. He's been dominant on the ovals, claimed he wasn't much of a road racer, but tonight he staved off some stiff competition so far.
seen him run up front on the road here, so it's not really just this track tonight. I mean, it would be for a win, but we've seen him in second. We've seen him run up front on occasion. So Wilhite, man, he is tough, tough, tough. I don't know how you're going to beat him, but right now it's Watson trying to hold off Miranda, as Miranda has closed down to almost 4 seconds, Jared.
Yeah, he is, and that's going to be our battle we're going to focus on as this race comes to an end. Watson and Miranda. Can Watson been methodical? Dean, he's kind of got that Alex Ball-esque driving with him, methodical, steady, that kind of driver, but now he's going to maybe get some pressure from a young gun, Mario Miranda.
Yeah, you brought up my moneymaker, the 29 a ball, somehow back in the top 5, like it's a miracle. He always ends up there, so good for him. Sorry, I almost forgot the point you were making.
James Watson doing a good job there so far in this race. But it's going to be, that gap is still coming down, Dean.
Now it's flying down. We're down to 3 seconds. He picked up a second that lap, Jared. Lap's not even over.
The gap is coming down in a hurry for Mario Miranda as he is making some big moves to catch James Watson for that podium position.
Well, that light fuel load, Jared, has allowed him to run. I mean, he just ran his best time of the race, a 1:28.3. So Miranda is absolutely flying.
Miranda is on the gas right now, and we know he is not afraid to throw anything out there and go for it, and he is doing it right now. But can he just be mistake-free so he can actually get to the back of James Watson? That's been the problem with Mario Miranda at times. He gets these things happen to him and just kind of loses maybe a little focus, but right now it looks very focused to me.
It's a style. I mean, I commend him for it, right? This is a high-risk, high-reward driver. He's going to drive the blank out of that car. And I love it, man. If you're going to do that, commit to it. And Mario Miranda does. He's not holding back on any lap. But I also wanted to bring up Jay Shellington just 1 lap ago, setting his fastest lap of the race as well. So up into 4th for Jay Shellington. What a nice night for him.
Jay Shellington, yeah, he has got Alex Ball on the back of him. Now that gap did increase just a little bit. It's not as prevalent as it was a couple of laps ago, but those guys, that battle not quite done just yet. We also have to give a shout out to Benjamin Combs, who's running in 6th place, kind of by himself, but he is doing a good job. Patrick Byrne in his debut race just ahead of Sebastian Kinder. Those guys, a second separating them, so we'll have to keep an eye on the battle for 7th. J.W. Miller, the last driver on the lead lap, in 9th place, all by himself. A lonely, lonely drive right now for him.
Yeah, it is, and he's not too excited right now, if you will. But a big shout out to the 28 of Patrick Byrne, recovering from that early incident here, back to where he started in 7th place. What a nice recovery from him, and I'm just really happy for him. Good run for him.
The New York driver having a great run here tonight, and he's had some good lap times, but now he's got to hold off that Frenchman. That's a battle for 7th place, and both these guys looking for some momentum, and Kinder is there coming outside the boot.
Sebastian Kinder ready to try and make this move. This will not be easy. Patrick Byrne worked hard to get here. He's not going to give it up without a fight.
And Dean, I don't know if you'll be able to do this, but do you know what paint scheme Patrick Byrne is running tonight?
I do not, but those are familiar colors. They look a lot like those team colors we've seen on other vehicles. I'm not sure about the paint scheme here.
And somebody at home might be able to correct me, but I believe that is Tony Stewart's 1996 IRL Championship paint scheme, also somewhat redone in 2003 by Robbie Gordon when he did the double in Indy. So a very nice paint scheme that is on that Patrick Byrne machine.
Well, I mean, the question should have went to you, not to me, Jared. I mean, you do have these information, 99% accuracy with that information. Very impressive indeed.
Yeah, we look at this battle, but we need to go back up to our battle for 2nd place. Watson, he's got company now. Miranda is in his mirrors as we are down to 4 laps to go here at Watkins Glen.
And Alexander Ball just set his fastest lap of the race. He's up to 4th place. And this is the time when Ball says, look, I played it safe. I've got my positioning, and now it's time to go. And he laid down a 129.55. Really nice lap there. So up to fourth place for him.
Alex Ball getting around Jay Shallington into fourth place. About 10 seconds off Mirinda and Watson. But Mirinda, big move into the inner loop, and he is there on the back bumper of Watson.
There, it's just a matter of a lap or so, maybe a corner or so, the way he's driving.
Let's jump on board, look out the back window of that machine of James Watson and see Mario Mirinda breathing down as they come into tow.
Yeah, this is Miranda's worst section of the track, but he's still right there. If he can just hold court here, we know how good he is after this. So watch out over the next couple of turns and heading down into turn one in particular. He'll be right there.
You know, looking out the back of James Watson, Miranda's actually doing pretty good through the boot section. He's running it a lot better, a lot more like I would run it than he was earlier in the race. And he's getting a great run coming back up on the NASCAR backstretch into turn 10.
Setting this up. He's setting it up right here. He got to get a good run out of this corner. You see him arc it in there really well. He's going to get that run. He'll use a push to pass here, I would imagine.
He's got 5. Watson's got 3. He's going to look on side. Doesn't have enough room to do it. Not yet. Oh, and no. Watson locks it up, and that's going to give it to Mirinda.
The pressure, I mean, sometimes that's what you got to do. Watson just locking him up. And that's, you seen that little dive to the inside that Mirinda did and then pulled back? That'll scare, enough to scare some drivers. That's why he did it. It's a pro move from Mario Mirinda. Put him back in second place.
Threw him the dummy, and the dummy paid off. Mirinda to second. Watson drops to third. Now let's go back and focus on that 7th place battle between Kinder and Byrne, because we got 3 laps to go, and Kinder kind of in the same scenario, just as close as Mirinda was to Watson, and he is we'll have to see what these guys can do, because they're a little bit of an unknown commodity.
We're not too sure exactly what they got. We've seen Kinder show, little shots of brilliance out there. Patrick Byrne is totally new. We're not sure what he's got, having a nice run after an early problem. And right now, he's doing a great job of holding off Kinder. He's holding him right in that little bubble spot.
Yeah, he is. And Kinder, you look at the push to pass. Byrne has all 10 of his left. Now, remember back at the early part of the season, Dean, Mario Mirinda said, well, I forgot to set a button. We don't know if he's just saved him, doesn't feel like he has to use them, or doesn't have it mapped. But right now, Kinder is cutting up on him on the toe section.
Yeah, Kinder is right there. But you made a great point, Byrne. He might not even know they're available, Jared. I mean, some guys just don't know exactly what's on this car. They're more focused on practice. Here comes Kinder.
Kinder looking again, coming out of heel, coming up onto NASCAR back straightaway. And again, Dean, looking out the back of that machine, he is, Kinder running a little bit different line. He's running what I would call an aggressive attack line, really trying to angle out, get as much straightaway speed as he can.
See here if he can get on the back. He got a really nice run through there.
Should be on the button. He is on the button. And he is going to get there. And Kinder, he locks it up. But he's going to hold steady. And Kinder is going to take over 7th place here with 2 laps to go. Valiant effort by Byrne, but just couldn't do much there.
Great move by Kinder. And a great response from Byrne. He kind of checked up a little bit when he seen that lock up. So, didn't want to get in an accident. But Kinder, really, really perfect move, perfect exit off the last corner, using that push to pass, get in position. Well done.
Wilhite will take the white flag at the same time that's going on. Mirinda, he's got some lap traffic, and that's kind of allowed Watson to kind of close back in. It's a second differential between these two drivers. I don't believe he's going to get enough time to get this done, but going to make it a little bit entertaining.
Most definitely. You never know with Mario Mirinda. He's in traffic. He's got an issue here trying to get around this driver. Watson's going to try and capitalize.
On board Watson, you can see 5th gear, 6th gear, and that's where I find it most interesting is watching these guys go through the gears, because there is some differences there between everybody shifting. Looking back, 4th team ball owner is going to have a driver in victory lane most likely. He's in 4th place. Jay Shallington in 5th place, and Benjamin Combs in 6th. Kinder still holding off Patrick Byrne. But those guys haven't separated as much as I thought maybe, Dean. But Chris Wilhite exiting the boot section, and he's about ready to take home his first road course victory of the year.
He is, man. Just a marvelous driving job by this purple machine here. Chris Wilhite coming down to our last corner. Or maybe not our last corner, a couple more here.
Coming out of NASCAR turn 10 into NASCAR turn 11. And the 7, the bumper thumper, Chris Wilhite grabbing his first road course victory of the year and no doubt extend his point lead heading into next week's race at Gateway International Raceway. What a drive by Chris Wilhite, leading all the laps and potentially picking up a Grand Chelem where he had the fastest lap. We'll have to check on that, but I think he did grab the fastest lap as well, which means he's going to get a Grand Chelem out of it. What a race by Chris Wilhite. Miranda will come across the line in second place, just ahead of James Watson. They both got around that lapped car on the last lap. But, Dean, what a race for those guys.
Good for them as we see Ball coming across in fourth. Jay Shallington going to come home in fifth. Nice job by him. Combs going to hang on up 6 spots into 6th place, with Kinder still fighting his burn for 7th place.
That's where our battle is. Kinder coming through NASCAR turn 10, gets the car, burn out a little bit of good run there, but it's not going to be enough. And Kinder is going to grab the 7th place position. Patrick Byrne in his debut race, 8th. And then Mr. Excitement, probably not very happy right now with either the damage or the penalty. And Miller is going to come home a disappointing 9th place finish here tonight.
Disappointing from JW, but let's give Chris Wilhite a big shout out, because he didn't get a lot of airtime tonight. He was alone a lot of part of that race. What a masterful job from a guy who really not known as a road course driver, but loves Watkins Glen. So he put it down. I mean, he was on the pole. He did everything right, no mistakes for him, and just an excellent victory by number 7.
Yeah, great job by Chris Wilhite. What more can you say? We already ran down our top 9. Alex Ress, 1 lap down. He'll beat off Gary Corley to finish in 10th place. So good job for the mediocre motorsports driver to grab a top 10. You look down through the rest of this list. We got Joseph Gravala in 16th. Scott Weiss, 15th. Thaddeus McMurray, the last driver, running in 14th. Matt Jorgensen just ahead of him in 13th. And Cullen Johnson grabbing 12th. Dean, kind of a tough night for some of these drivers. Jim Brooks, who only made it 4 laps before heavy damage and put him out. Same with A.J. Hobson, our Indy winner.
Both Brooks and Hobson were hoping for a lot more than they got tonight. Hobson in particular with some serious problems. He was a contender here tonight, at least for a top 5. And Brooks, I'm not exactly sure what he had, but I had a feeling he was thinking of a top 5 as well. So very unfortunate for these guys.
You're exactly right, Dean. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and then when we come back, we'll hear from our race winner, our top 3 finishers, and set the stage for next week's race at Gateway International. All right, we are back live here at Watkins Glen International, where Chris Wilhite will grab the victory, followed by Mario Miranda and James Watson. Ball and Shonton top five. Dean, we look at the point standings, and Chris Wilhite increasing that point lead over J.W. Miller. It is 70 or 60 points heading in with 3 races to go. Still not insurmountable for J.W. Miller. Ball remains in third, Coates remains in fourth, and Combs will swap positions with Roger Rios-Mateus to move himself into 5th place unofficially.
Wilhite and Ball with the big gains on the night. JW, a very disappointing night for him, and Combs did well as well. But all in all, it's all about Wilhite. And, he's probably thinking he needs next week off, so he had to lay down something here and open that gap. He did everything right. Miller had some problems, and, it's going to be a battle now to catch him.
Yeah, it is. And let's get into our interviews here. And I am down on pit road with our 3rd place finisher, Mr. James Watson. James, congratulations on getting the podium in just your 3rd start here at ESRA. Take us through your night. It looked like you were kind of by yourself almost the entire race, either in 2nd or 3rd place.
Yeah, I was just kind of cruising, trying to make sure I kept the car under me because, this thing can be so unpredictable at road courses, and you're just pushing the limit that I just wanted to keep it under me and build as much of a gap as I could back to JW and Mario. Obviously, I knew I wasn't catching Chris.
Exactly. So you're talking about having that by yourself, but then toward the end of the race, it looked like you were sitting there coming under a little bit of pressure from Mr. Mario Miranda, and it looked like maybe you just got a little bit deep in the corner, locked it up, and gave up the position. Did you have anything from Mario there at the end, or was it an inevitability that he was going to get around you?
Nah, I actually just kind of let him by because I knew he was faster, and he's a bit of a wild card in his braking. So I just, didn't want to look a gift horse in the mouth, and I'm like, I don't think I'm going to be able to hold him off. So I just kind of let him have it and just, held on to the podium, because holding on to 2 back-to-back podiums for Team Watson Racing in our first 4 ever races, that would have been huge. I'm like, I don't want to lose that.
Yeah, exactly. And you speak about it, you guys just joining in with the ESRA Indycar Series. We got 3 races left: Gateway, Mid-Ohio, and Las Vegas. What kind of expectations does Team Watson Racing and yourself have moving into these final 3 races of the season?
Well, I mean, it kind of feels like the sky's the limit because, we just started and we're already putting up like really solid results. Like I'm back-to-back podiums. Seb and Patrick tonight had a top 10. Patrick rebounded after having some technical difficulties with his VR setup and was still able to come back to 8th. So yeah, I'm really proud of my team. I think we can start to build on it, get some more experience as a team, and maybe make some serious noise come next season.
Well, we're excited for you, James. I'm going to turn the floor over to you, let you have the last word, and congratulations again on your podium finish.
Thank you. I got to thank my sponsors, ZAS Designs, as always. He's working overtime, get my paint schemes all nice and fancy. I got to thank Chris Graham over at National Racing Network. It's a new partnership that just came together within the last few days. He's a good friend of mine, and he's allowing us a real good opportunity to really grow TWR into something major. So it's really good to just get another podium for him and the first ESRA Indy Series race with him as a partner.
Well, we're glad to hear it, James, and best of luck the rest of the season. Dean, good job by Mr. Watson there, and I think you're down there on pit road with our runner-up, Mr. Mario Miranda.
99, Mario Miranda, 2nd place tonight. Driving like a true warrior tonight, Mario, and you fought for everything you got. Congrats on 2nd place.
Yeah, thank you. I'm happy with 2nd. I haven't been running Thursday nights because of change of plans in real life, and plans changed, and I was able to get in here. Only 20 minutes of practice. I probably should have practiced my pit exit.
Wait a minute, Jared, did you hear that? We got headlines for tomorrow. Mario Miranda happy with second place. I've never heard it before. This is crazy talk.
The sky is falling.
Anyway, I hear you, Mario. I think you should be happy with second. Let's go through the race a bit here. You get in the start. The start was fantastic for you. I mean, it's very tricky going down into turn one there. A lot of bad things can happen, but you push the car there, controllably, and you pick up second spot. Very excellent maneuver. And now you got your sight set clearly on Chris Wilhite.
Yeah, I was amazed how Chris can carry so much speed on cold tires, but when the tires leveled out, I couldn't gain on him. Every time we crossed the line, it would be 1 second, 1.1 second, maybe 0.9 at sometimes. So I was hoping if I get my pit stop clean enough, gain some more time there. But he was really good through the boot section. I was really good through the first section, and we're about even in the last section, sector 3. But
Well,
go
sorry to
ahead.
cut you off. Obviously aware of that because we were talking about it a lot. We could clearly see you were faster, really, around most sectors on the track, but the boot was eating you up, man. Wilhite was just killing you through the boot. Was it something just about not enough time on the track? Because you seemed to improve as the race went on through that section.
Yeah, I think it was just the lack of time on track. I know the track Watkins Glen super well, but I don't know the boot plus the IndyCar combination. I've done, the skip barber cars or maybe GT3s. But I've never done that combination before, and it was kind of a challenge to learn it, but the race went on and I got better and better.
Now let's talk about the obvious thing that happened. Pit road. What happened, Mario?
I always I like to think that my pit road is my racing savior. I always pride myself on my pit road abilities because I feel like that wins races majority of the times, and got a little too confident with the cold tires on pit road exit, trying to keep up with Wilhite, and it cost me.
So speeding that you had down there?
Unsafe pit exit. I went wide. I didn't stay within the blue lines.
I was trying to figure that out. I should have known that. That's very unfortunate. But like I said, you were a true warrior tonight, man. You got out there, you raced a little angry, a little aggressive, but clean. Got all the way back to second. You got to be thrilled. We're thrilled for you, man. Just can't say enough about your driving, whether it's oval or road. You're doing a fantastic job in everything we cover. So congrats on second, man. We're gonna throw it over to you. The floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you so much, guys, for broadcasting like you do, and shout out to my mom and dad that are out there watching.
All right, Jared. There you have it. Happy to be second, Mario Miranda.
Yeah, it's something we thought we'd never hear, but I'm down on victory lane talking to Mr. Chris Wilhite, grabbing his first road course win of the season. Congratulations, Chris, on a great run.
Thanks, Jared. Appreciate it.
So, yeah, I mean, a little bit of battling. So at the beginning of the race, you start on the pole. And first off, I did want to confirm you got a Grand Chelem. So congrats on that as well. Leading all the laps, starting on pole, grabbing the fastest lap. So that's a big accomplishment.
No, yeah, that was just a good night for us. I mean, this is a real comfortable track for me, kind of like Road America, and this car really suits this. It's really fun. You can get kind of aggressive with it. And so, yeah, they had jumped up there, got the pole. I guess their second straight road pole, and took it from there.
Well, Chris, I mean, your race at the beginning, I mean, you had Mario Miranda breathing down your neck all night long up until that first pit stop. It looked like it was going to be you and him at the end of that race, but then he makes a mistake exiting pit road. And then from that point on, you're pretty much by yourself.
Yeah, I was, him and yeah, it was a good battle for Mario that the first fuel stint. We were kind of trading back and forth quick laps, right? Like I'd be quicker by a couple tenths, then he'd be quicker by a couple tenths, and it looked like I was better than him in the boot, but he was getting a great run off of turn one, which leads you down through the S's, so he was making up time there. But yeah, it was a great battle with him, and then I didn't know what he did, but I saw he had to come back down pit road right after the pit stop, so knew he had some sort of penalty.
Yeah, and Chris, you know, at the beginning of the year, I think it was, and I might be wrong, I think we were talking to you at Barber. You finished third, and you're like, you know, I'm happy with finishing third. I'm not much of a road course racer. And you go out here and win tonight. Were you sandbagging a little bit? Were you trying to throw the competition off?
No, I mean, it feels like we've gotten a little better, right? Like Road America, we were very competitive. I feel like some of the other road courses, like Coda, I got on the podium, but I was no match for JW or Mario or those guys. And now these last couple road courses, either they just suit my style a little bit, or we've just gotten a little bit quicker and closed up that competition. But yeah, it's great to be able to run with guys like Mario and JW. Those guys are so fast on the road courses.
Yeah, and so you know we switch gears. There's one road course left, Mid Ohio, in 2 weeks. We got two ovals left, Gateway in Las Vegas, or I should say Worldwide Technologies Raceway Park. How are you feeling about those races coming up, and are you going to be able to make those?
Yes, I'm going to miss the next two. So one's going to be because of Road to Pro, and the other one, spring break. I'll actually be on vacation with my daughters. So I'm going to miss two. I'll be back for Vegas. So JW is going to be breathing down my neck by the time we get to Vegas. He had a little bit of trouble tonight. It looked like he was running really well, and then I don't know if he had a penalty maybe on the last pit stop. So I don't know how the points are shaking out, but he's quick every week, right? Ovals and roads. So I imagine he may take over the point lead, but we'll be back for Vegas, and we're going to fight it out and do everything we can there that last race to try to bring it home.
Yeah, unofficially sitting at 62 right now. Now I'm sure there's some bonus points that we didn't have calculated in there, but very close. Chris, congratulations on your win. A dominating performance leading all the laps. I'm going to turn it over to you, bud, and let you have the last word here tonight in the ESRA Watkins Glen race.
Yeah, big shout out tonight to Team Ball Racing. 3 cars in the top 5. So great job to Alex and Jay. It just a great team effort tonight. Give a shout out to Colin and the ESRA and the league. They're doing a great job. The big shout out to the league, right? We started off kind of slow, but really the back half of the season, we've gotten more and more numbers. I think we had 22 tonight on a road course. That's great. So they're doing a great job, Alec and Colin. And then shout out to you guys at Full Throttle TV. Again, you guys do a great job with the broadcast, and I'm looking forward to watching it.
We appreciate it, Chris, and we will, I'm sure, talk to you before the season's over with. Dean, that was Chris Wilhite grabbing his first road course win of the season. What more can you say after this Watkins Glen race? He came out, got it done, and going to miss the next 2 races. That's going to make things a little bit interesting with Gateway and Mid-Ohio coming up.
I'll be honest, you say, what more can you say? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. We've covered it all. Wilhite, true champion, great representative of the league, and yeah, looking forward to these races coming up. I mean, you just expect more of the same. If Wilhite is there, he's the favorite each and every time out, whether it's road or whether it's on an oval, especially on an oval, though. Road, he's got some other competitors, but man, this has been a lot of fun. And he talked about it, Jared. This league just keeps getting a little bigger, a little bit better. And I think over time, this is going to be a premier Indy racing league.
Yeah, you're exactly right, Dean. It was a great race here tonight, and that's going to do it for our coverage of Watkins Glen. But we still have more action coming up this week in the next few days on Full Throttle TV. Sunday night, Elite Sim Racing Association back in action. Those guys going to be at Las Vegas Motor Speedway in their Clash Series using the Xfinity cars. Excellent racing, excellent broadcast put on by Dean Doucet and my man, Bad Brad Patterson over there in the booth. Check those guys out. It's a very fun series, and you never know what you're going to get there. Mariah Miranda, very quick in that series as well. Then we'll be back on Monday night. Full Throttle TV we'll be back with Full Throttle Sim Racing on Monday night. Those guys heading to Bristol Dirt with the Cup Series. Who knows what we're going to get in that race, but it's going to be exciting. Myself and Chris Spear are going to be in the booth, and we're looking forward to having everybody out there join us and catch all the action on Full Throttle TV as we move in to the end of March and into the month of April. But for tonight, for Dean Doucet, I'm Jared Carr. We will see you guys out on the track.